Hi, everyone. Gerry Dulac along with Ray Fittipaldo. We're at M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore where the Steelers just beat the Baltimore Ravens 27-22 in a rousing victory for the Steelers. Your Steeler Report brought to you by Savinas, Kane, and Gallucci Mesothelioma and Asbestos Lawyers with 85 years of experience for getting millions of dollars for their victims/clients. Go to sdklaw.com. Ray, just a big victory on several fronts for the Steelers. One, it kind of puts a halt to that slide. 5 losses in the last 7 games. Everybody remembers the 2 games in Baltimore last year, what happened. And even though the Ravens still ran for a lot of yards, some big defensive stops late in the fourth quarter, big, long pass plays by Aaron Rodgers. Steelers came out with an aggressive mindset. They took a halftime lead. And for the first time in 5 games against a quality opponent, they didn't blow the halftime lead.
Yeah, Gerry, you look at this game, there's a lot of things the Steelers continued to do that have hurt them in the past. I mean, they were outsnapped in this game 77-51. The Ravens ran 26 more plays, but give the Steelers credit for finding ways to get off the field late in the game, and Alex Highsmith closing it out with that big sack. I mean, the Ravens were on the 31-yard line, had a chance to heave one into the end zone there. You never know what can happen. So big play by Highsmith to close the game out.
Ray, on 3 separate occasions in the fourth quarter, the Ravens got to the Steelers' 10-yard line, and they held them to 2 field goals, and another time they stopped them on downs. So, I mean, kudos to the defense. Patrick Queen said after the game, well, that's when you do that and you deny them points, that's great. You like to stay out of those situations, but at least the defense responded. And like you said, Ray, there were some holes in that defense. They allowed 400-some yards, 217 yards rushing. That's a 3rd game in a row against the Ravens where they've rushed for over 200 yards against the Steelers. The 5th time they've done that in 13 meetings with the Steelers, and it came on the heels of 249 yards rushing by the Bills last week. But it didn't really matter, though, because in the end, the Steelers were able to take advantage of some mistakes, and they had 2 big replay reviews that helped them in the fourth quarter.
Absolutely. And tell me if you saw it differently. This felt a lot different than the 299-yard performance the Ravens put on them, and even the 220-yard performance last year. They had the one big run that set up their touchdown, but, I thought they made Derrick Henry earn his yards today. He only averaged 3.8 yards per carry. And you're right, Gerry, a couple of big plays went against the Ravens. They were called for a penalty on the field goal that put the offense back on the field.
And they scored a touchdown.
And the Steelers capitalized and scored a touchdown. And obviously, the biggest plays of the game, the Steelers came through. And a big thing today was scoring touchdowns, not settling for field goals, whereas the Ravens had to settle for field goals and not score touchdowns.
Ray, the one replay review that helped them in the fourth quarter, the first one of the 2, was what appeared to be what was ruled an interception, a batted ball by Aaron Rodgers that he tried to catch, and it was intercepted by Teddy Buchanan, or so the ruling was on the field. But replay showed that Aaron Rodgers controlled the ball when his knee hit the ground before it was taken away. He was actually controlling it with that bad left wrist, he said. He actually played with a different cast on it, a softer cast, he said, that really helped him. But the replay review overturned it. It ended up being just a completed pass to Rodgers. What was it, the 4th completed pass that he's had in his career?
For negative 18 yards.
Right, exactly. But the big one, of course, was what looked to be a 13-yard touchdown to Isaiah Likely, their tight end, crossing the end zone. He was ready to take the 3rd step, the officials ruled, and that's when Joey Porter reached his arm out and knocked it away. It's a goofy rule, Ray, that you had to have that 3rd step down. He didn't. That's what the officials said in a pool report, and so they ruled it an incomplete pass. And that was a big break because the Ravens got stopped on down. So that touchdown, no points were on the board after that.
Gerry, here we are. I don't know, almost to the day, maybe a week or 2 off, but 8 years after the Jesse James play at Acrisure Stadium against the Patriots, we still don't know what a catch is. To me, Gerry, that looked like a catch. I understand you have to have a rule about possession and getting a 3rd step down, but it seems like it's a convoluted rule. And I'm sure the Ravens fans and the coaches and the players will be talking about this play much in the same way the Steelers talked about that Jesse James play. and how it affected their playoff chances back in 2017.
You know, Ray, to your point, there's such a gray area with touchdowns in the end zone. For example, a running back, a quarterback, they could jump over the line, a quarterback could sneak, and he can reach over the goal line, and it could get punched away. But if it crosses the goal line, it's a touchdown. If you toe tap in the end zone 2 feet, it's a touchdown so long as you roll to the ground.
Right.
But you have 2 feet down in the end zone, but the third one doesn't, quote, complete the catch, and they rule it a non-catch. And it's no touchdown, no points to the Ravens. That one really hurt them.
And tough break for Isaiah Likely. In that game last week against the Bengals, he was
lost.
stripped right as he crossed the goal line. And I think there was a replay review on that one as well. And that was a huge play in that game. And now the Ravens are going to have an uphill climb to make the playoffs, Gerry. They still have the Packers left. They got the Patriots, the Bengals, and, of course, the Steelers again in the regular season finale. You don't want to count your chickens until they're hatched, but the Steelers are in really good position with a month.
Yeah, of course, the game was for first place. The Steelers now 7-6 with a one-game lead on the Ravens. They play the Miami Dolphins, and that's the other thing too, Ray. They lose this game. That would have been 6 losses in 8 games. They go home on Monday night in front of a crowd that a week earlier was chanting to fire the head coach.
Yeah.
They would just be laying in wait for them. And so that's why I thought this game, in after a turbulent week and everything that was going on and all the discussion about Mike Tomlin and his future, for the Steelers to come here and win the game the way they did was really important for them.
And now for the Steelers, it's all about, can you repeat this performance? We all know consistency has been a huge problem for this football team this season. Can they continue the downfield passing game against the Dolphins? Because it worked today. I understand the Ravens challenged them. They presented a different defenses than most previous coaches game planned against them. But to me, I think the Steelers found something today. Get the ball into your playmaker's hands, let him do the rest, and that's what happened with DK Metcalf.
And Ray, this is a game. It was indicative of why the Steelers brought in Aaron Rodgers. He looked in control from the get-go. Opening play, 51-yard pass to DK Metcalf right down the field, an aggressive approach by offensive coordinator Arthur Smith. They converted it into a touchdown, and to start the second half, a 41-yard play to Derrick Metcalf to set up a touchdown. The Steelers had 5 completions of 28 yards or longer. They weren't afraid to attack, and they played that way the entire time. And Aaron Rodgers, unlike last week's game, Ray, where he looked not in control and uncertain, he was in total control of this from the get-go.
And moving around in the pocket, he talked after the game about, hey, when you're 40, some days you feel good, some days you feel bad. On that touchdown run, he even gave us the discount double check. So
right.
A little bit of a throwback there for Aaron.
So the Steelers are off until Monday when they play the Miami Dolphins at home, Monday Night Football back at Acrisure Stadium. They're 7-6 now, 1-game lead on the Baltimore Ravens. Ray and I, of course, will be at that game to give you the wrap-up afterward. For Ray Fittipaldo, I'm Gerry Dulac. You're watching Post-Gazette.com.
Thank you for checking out this content from Post-Gazette Sports. If you watch this video on YouTube, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. For all of the sports coverage the Post-Gazette has to offer, visit post-gazette.com.